All right, here we are presenting our Afghan Trail program. I've got Jonathan Sarine here, and we're Braden, Horde, and Risky Abraham. Just starting out, we're going to show a hunts method that we built. Here's the view of it using the do action, and it takes a couple parameters. Player, and then there's a lot of parameters involved with player that actually get adjusted, and that's why we pass player, so that those adjustments don't disappear when it runs out of scope. So we did that intentionally, and let's see. We're going to talk about the clearly define the problem, Braden.
Yeah. So initially we had a with regards to the hunt specific to this class. Hunt is a very specific kind of function here because we needed it to occur within a semi-regular basis because essentially in all Oregon Trail-ish games, there's always a feature to where the character can accrue various items in the wilderness. And that, constitutes a lot of their items and a lot of their reception and the ability to make their a lot of the ability to help their creators survive and to eventually reach the end point of the game. So within the hunt, we needed an ability to have it occur on a semi-regular basis, have it usually be successful and not be negative. So there's a couple ways where we decided to do that. So let's take a look at the back at the test matrix.
Yeah. So our test matrix really just is making sure that if the player has a negative stamina or a negative chance, here we're making sure that there's no negative values allowed. So those would obviously return false. And our valid case here is, there's a lot of values that would make it valid and return a successful hunt, which it actually returns an item that the player would get in their inventory, a food item. And then based on the math that we have, we worked it out to where there'd be a chance that depends on their stamina and a base chance variable that we have, and the boundaries turned out to be, if you have a stamina of 54 and 67, there's an edge right around there of whether it's going to be true or false. And Risky will talk about outlining the solution.
Basically, we're outlining the solution. So we require the player to have stamina more than 0, and then the chance will be a random number between 0 and 100 in a real game. But we're gonna put a number in there for now for a test purpose, and then it has, the player has to have money more than 0. So he or she has to have money. And then, so we calculate, so we're going to give a chance, modified chance. So we're going to put a number right here, and then times 0.6. And then for now, the maximum number of the chance will be 60, and then the minimum will be 0. And then we'll put it into the cutoff variable. So cutoff basically just 100 minus 20 plus the modified chance, and then the hunt will be successful if the stamina more than cutoff. And then we want if the player successfully successfully hit the target, it will be a nice hit, and then it will drop an item, which is a duck. And then if it's not successful, it will print the message you missed. And then after we outline the solution, we're going to test this algorithm and then put it in the code. And then Braden can explain about that.
Right. So in our hunt test, within our subset test folder, we have contained within it all of the functions that are within the hunt view. We actually call back to the all the functions contained within the hunt controller. So we call back to it, and if, as you can see, when we run the file, here we go. Takes a moment on my computer. But when we run the file, these are the expected results here. It shows that looks like 2 times, looks like we had during these hits here. It looks like we got duck. Each of their prices are different, apparently, for the quality of the duck, I suppose. And it shows that the function is not only is easily scalable into larger implementations, but it's also able to use the math random function as well. Translating onto that, so now we need to translate that algorithm into code, essentially. Like, how are we going to express this? And Jonathan has that for us.
That's right. So here you got the code, and here, like we showed in the view, we just are passing the player. And inside here, this is where we're really kind of doing a lot of figuring out if the player even has ammunition to do a hunt. And here we're getting some of these random chances and finding the stamina and getting a random amount of money. And that we actually pass to this try hunt function down here, which is what we test in the test function down here, hunt test. We did it that way so we could be passing staminas that we kind of just hard coded in and chance, so that we could test the edge cases of this function while still getting the real game numbers when a user is actually playing the game. And here you see the math. Here it's the edge cases there, not taking any negative values. You saw that with Risky's code, his pseudocode that written up. And here's where the chances are taken into account, just how Risky explained. And you have, if it's successful, it gets the duck and gives it to the player. And if you missed, then you missed. And so now we got running the test cases to verify that the code is working as specified with Risky.
Okay, so if you go to the NetBean and then go to the test packages, we right click and then run the file, test the file, and then it will output this right here, and then it's successfully passed all the tests. And then we'll see in the test hunt test method, like we put test case 1, which is we have a stamina 70 and then chance of 30 and then price 4 for now. And then so it should be allow the player to be successfully hit, because it has a stamina more than 0 and then chance more than 0 and then money more than 0. And then we calculate the number, and then you can see like the player received the item, which is a duct, and then the value and expected results came out true. And in test case 2, you can see that because the stamina is -10, so like it basically will return false. And then it will go to the test case number 3. We have like enough stamina, but the chance is -5, which is will return false again. And then in test case 4, we have enough stamina and then a good chance of hit, and then they're all supposed to return a true value, which is right here, and then an item, which is a duct. And then test case 5, we have enough stamina and a chance of barely 20. So we'll be able to hunt, but since we have a really small chance of 20, so we will miss. And then test case 6, so stamina is 0, and then chance is 0. So it should return false. And then since a really small chance, it will return a miss. Okay, I think that's it. And then since we don't have any changes here, so we don't have to deploy any changes to the repo, to the code.
Right. Yeah, no changes. And then just real quick, we can go through our so like on mine, I got broken wagon here in the view. There's a switch statement which calls each controller function. And here we have some of the methods being tested in the broken wagon test. Just run that file for you quick. Here we have our test being passed. And Risky, you have enter town that you did.
Yes. I am being attacked, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then Braden has been working hard on disease contraction. Which we have there.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. All right. So yes, with disease contraction, there's been a need to demonstrate this, and it's a common theme in all the Oregon game and Oregon game kind of prototype games, that a player can contract an illness, while out in the trail. And so it's either a Boolean value. It's either you're sick or you're not sick. So we have it to where in the disease contraction controller file, we have it to where there's a couple different options set up, and Jonathan and Risky worked really hard to make sure that everything was sort of templated out so that we could scale these to make as many different functions as we needed to. So essentially, it checks first to see if you need to check first to see if the player even has medicine to heal themselves, and we have everything contained within the different models and characters and inventories and items to see if the character has or the player has any item type of medicine. And this scales between Jonathan's broken wagon, Risky's being attacked for ammunition, and it checks all those, and it's either true or, and if they don't have anything, then it's true, and you really don't have any other options. But if you do have medicine, you can enter a W, and that gives you the chance to run this equation, essentially, which is all detailed right here. You can pause the video and take a look at that. Then if it's successful, it gives you a small stamina boost in addition to depleting some of your medicine, and it'll print that out for you. And then in the view itself, we use the super class to pass all of these things in between all of the three, the model, the view, and the controller. So it's a really, really nice system that they templated out. My disease contraction controller test has been giving me a lot of issues, so I will definitely need to compile that and run that last step, that step number 7, to compile that into it, because we just rolled out a new template system last night. So once we get that all settled, I should be good to go.
That's right. All right. Thank you for watching.